Thank you, Cheryl, for joining us today for AAFCA Roundtables. Sheryl Lee Ralph Group is, to me, is more than an actress, author, and philanthropist. She's, in fact, a good friend. And she's someone that I've known for about 20 years. And
how about that?
I know. And has long been a supporter of everything AAFCA. I can't say enough about her. We are looking forward to the 1 year that we're on air, honoring her. That's what we've been waiting for.
Well,
which is soon come. And you know, as usual, Cheryl has a lot to talk about. She has a recurring role on a show on FreeForm, ABC FreeForm, and as you know, she was in the last season of Ray Donovan. She continues to promote her book, and of course, she is unstoppable in her philanthropic efforts to raise consciousness and awareness and action about the threat of HIV AIDS in our community. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the members of AAFCA who are with us today. Katya, as you know, from Philadelphia.
Hi, Ms. Ralph.
Hey, Katya.
An imposter named Gil Robertson, who is actually our voice of God at Adams and producer. Rhonda Rasha Penrise. Oh, and wait, stop the camera. She's a rock diva. The curvy film critic, Carla Renata.
Hey.
Hi, Carla.
Hey, Miss Cheryl.
And the very talented Ray Cornelius from WCOK in Atlanta.
Hey, Ray.
And Carla, by the way, is in Los Angeles. Oh, and the ultimate experience, AAFCA's creative director, Etienne Maurice, who I think is related to Ms. Ralph. He looks just like
that?
So without further ado, I am going to let you guys do what you do so well. Do your thing, AAFCA.
This is Carla Renata, the curvy critic. How you doing this morning?
You know what? I am so good, and I'm so happy to be able to talk with all of you. This is a good time when we can all come together, share thoughts and ideas, and take a moment to just exhale together.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I'm a big anniversary buff, and I know that Sister Act 2 is celebrating its 20th year anniversary. Congratulations on that. And I wanted to know if,
I can't believe it.
I know, right?
I mean, I really cannot believe it has been 20 years. Are you sure it's not longer than that?
I'm positive.
Wow. Wow.
Girl, don't make it no older than it already is. But having said that, what is your favorite moment from shooting that film?
And I know exactly which one it is too. Well, that's hard because now that you said that, there are actually 3. But the first one that came to my mind was recording Joyful, 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 Joyful Lord, we adore thee. When I saw that cast of young people up on that stage, I mean, you're talking about a 16-year-old Lauryn Hill singing lead there in front of that incredibly talented cast. I mean, it was something to behold. I knew right then, I said, whoa, this scene alone is going to make this a very special movie. And then me there with my stank face. Oh my goodness. That was a very good one. Then I love Whoopi, but I did have a great moment where I just looked at her and I said, thank you very much, but I have work to do. And I slammed the door in her face. I was like, whoa, I just slammed the door in Whoopi's face like that with such confidence. So that was a good one. And then there was a moment that happened off screen and we were in between shots and Lauren was playing the piano and she said to me, Miss Ralph, I'm gonna have a band. I'm gonna have a band and we're gonna be big and we're gonna be called the Fugees. And I said, the Fugees? I said, girl, you are gonna have a band and you all are gonna be big, but you might wanna rethink that name. That really happened. And she told me, you just don't get it. Fugees, like refugees, Fugees. I said, okay. But that really happened. So those are some of the great moments that happened.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Miss Ralph, Kathy Woods here in Philly. You've been what I love about you, you've been very honest about how your career, you haven't always been given the opportunity to play roles that meet up to your talent, and how you've been very, conscientiously saying, I'm not going to play this just to have work, not some stereotypical type of character. Can you talk a little bit about how the industry has improved, because there are more of you now, and the ways that you're like, this is great. We have more people that look like us behind the camera and so on, but we still need to really work, especially as we get into women 40 and over. It seems to be still very, one or two, not more.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Every night around midnight now, since the Corona quarantine, I've been reading chapters from my book, and it has refreshed my mind about how difficult a climb, or how difficult a building of a road, a continuation of a road that was started by incredibly talented actresses who came before me. And it's put in my mind, in some ways, my career in context. My first film, I was 19 years old. I was in a film called Piece of the Action with Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby. Mr. Poitier was the director. He created an incredible place for me to learn everything in those few 6 weeks of shooting that film. And it was so wonderful for me. But at the end of that shooting, Mr. Poitier looked at me and he said, Sheryl Lee Ralph, I am so sorry that this industry does not have more to offer a talent like yours. Maybe if I was different, I might have given up, but I was so headstrong, I was so believing that there was more for me out there that I kept on. But I also had great mentors, women who poured into me, who gave me great lessons, who told me, as a Black female actor, you cannot just act. Well, you can, but it'll be difficult. They said, I remember Virginia Capers telling me, really work on your singing, hone that skill. Continue always to work on your acting. It is a major skill of yours. Learn to speak in another language. Learn as many different accents that your ear can accommodate. And I remember all of these women pouring into me, Roz Cash, Virginia Capers, Ruby Dee, oh my God, Lena Horne from afar. I mean, there were so many that just kept, pushing me on. I got my SAG card, it was 78? And so I've been at this since my teens. It was 10 years from my first film to my second film. But in between that, there was Dreamgirls, there was Broadway, and that was amazing. After that, I left Broadway to go to TV in a series on CBS called V, sci-fi series about some crazy sort of human rodents underneath the earth. Anyway, I know that my career, I'm like the tortoise. I'm slow but steady. There's a line from Dreamgirls. I was here before you, and I'll be here long after you're gone. So I know my best days are ahead of me. I'm very happy and thrilled when I can turn on TV and I can see Lena Waithe and everything that she does. When I can see Issa Rae, who I used to see in church, good little church girl, now doing her thing with Insecure and the what, the 5th season? Although, let me tell you, I am sad because I shot the photograph with her. Yes, Kingsley and I shot, Kingsley Adair, we shot the photograph with her, and our storyline got cut out. So everything we did was on the floor, but that's all right. Photograph was a great movie. So I'm just saying, I've been here to be a fly on the creative wall, and I see change. I'm experiencing change, and I know greater things are going to happen, and my best days are ahead of me. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hey, it's Rhonda. I was going to ask about your longevity.
Girl, give me that hat, honey. Give me that hat and those hoops. Yes, I love that look. You know, that look is my uniform in my head. A good black hat, some big hoops, and a black turtleneck. Yes.
Well, Katia kind of touched on your longevity, but now you're playing a commander-in-chief, and I've seen Motherland, and it's a very different series, but I love the stuff on Freeform anyway. So how did you get the mindset? Because you haven't, I don't think, have you played a commander-in-chief before?
You know, I've never played the president before, but it seems that I've evolved from a pretty empty head to more of a powerful, peaceful woman in charge. You know, it's crazy because it's difficult for me because, how do I say this? Playing a commander-in-chief was something that's the creator must have seen in me, because the creator of that show, Elliot Lawrence, had cast me in his other series, Claws.
Oh, okay.
And I played a character, Madame Rouvol, the Haitian sorceress, you know, the woman of the voodoo with her son, the doctor. And it was crazy for me that I got that call in the summertime from Elliot. He said, you know what, I'm working on a new series, and I can only think of you. I can only see you as the president of the United States. So I was just like, me? Why, thank you so very much. So I was just so thrilled. So, you know, I think it was just what he saw in my acting skills. And I'm glad to have been able to evolve from, you know, something in the beginning. You know, in the beginning, there were those roles where I was either the light-headed, empty-headed girl, or really that tough, real girl in charge. You know, so it was always from one extreme to the other. And now I get to play a purely powerful woman in charge. I have a line that says, I am bound by rule of law to represent all of America, whether they voted for me or not. And I love the fact that, if you noticed, in bringing that character to life, my voice lowers, the way her posture is, that is completely different. And I think that's just acting. And thank God there was somebody who said, damn, she can act. And hey, I'm glad he saw it in me, and I was able to bring it to life. And we're doing very well, so I'm excited.
The series Hollywood premiered last week. It was a retelling of what, you know, Hollywood would look like if there was some diversity and inclusion. Was there a situation maybe in your career that if you could go back and rewrite it, that you would, and what would that be if you could go back and rework it or change it, if you could?
God, Ray, and you've known me long enough to know that this is my truth. Honestly, I wouldn't go back and change anything, because I believe that God orders our steps. I am where I'm supposed to be. I am doing what I am supposed to be doing. If I were supposed to be doing something else differently, that is the way my steps would have been ordered. Would I have liked to have gotten or been chosen to play Tina when it was between my good soror and myself? Yeah, I would have liked to have played Tina. But guess what? Okay, they copied my dress. It looked great on her, but it would have looked great on me too. But it did not happen that way. it happened the way it was supposed to happen. And that was Angela's gig. It was not my gig. I don't try to set myself up to compare or compete, because in this industry, when you do that to yourself, you set yourself up to go crazy. And we know this industry is full of people who have lost their minds trying to say, well, what is it? There shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And why wasn't it me? Why didn't it happen to me? Well, guess what? It didn't, because it wasn't supposed to. And that's the way that goes. So I honestly would not rewrite anything, because I've had some great moments in my career doing Dreamgirls, having the impact that I've had over the years on little chocolate girls who look at the screen and see a chocolate girl that looks like them and have them feel good about their natural hair, about their skin color, the thickness of their lips. All of that means something to me, because those little girls that sat in the theater now pass that feeling on to their daughters, and that becomes legacy. So I've had some good moments. You know, when my doggone monologue from A Piece of the Action, where I played Barbara Hanley, that what they call a juvie, that juvenile delinquent from the 70s who just let all of her feelings out onto the screen and hurt the people closest to her who were trying to help her. When that monologue is still relevant today, and young people play it back and say, Miss Ralph, how did you do that? I'm like, see, those moments are golden. Sister Act 2, you know, the people that I worked with then, those were golden. Would I like something more and different? Yeah, but maybe I have to write it myself where I am right now, because in the hearts and minds of people overall, I'm doing pretty good. I am doing pretty doggone good. And what I see in my children, I've done a damn good job. I'm like, I'm okay. So I hope I answered your question, but you know how I feel.
Yeah, you did. And you're doing an amazing job. So thank you.
Thank you.
So, hey, Miss Cheryl, it's Carla Renata again.
Yes, Miss Carla.
Yes, Miss Cheryl. I just want to say, I was one of those little chocolate girls that saw you in Dreamgirls, and it made a world of difference for me to see somebody that looked like me. And I remember you in A Piece of the Act. I remember seeing you in A Piece of the Action and was like, ooh, she's so pretty and she can really act. I want to do that.
Wow.
So I just want to acknowledge you in that lane right there and talk about that. But having said that, I know that you have a benefit that you do every year, Divas Simply Singing. And with this pandemic abound and with so many things being canceled or rescheduled, I'm wondering how you plan on moving forward with that event this year.
Well, I tell you one thing, I believe, and this is just Cheryl, I believe that God puts these things in front of us to see how we are going to move forward, because it is so easy to stay still. It is so easy to wish that, oh, I just want it to be over with so I can go back to normal. I believe that I've got to put the right kind of oil in my lamp so that I can be ready for change, so that I can be ready to light my lamp when that light, that flame is needed. So I am preparing to do a virtual event of the show. I do not, thank you, I do not think there is going to be what it used to be. There's going to be a new normal. And as they work through what that new normal may be, I'm trying to figure out something virtually. I remember when my mother, we used to do these things called, they were tea parties, but you didn't necessarily attend the tea party. You got a tea bag. You got a tea bag and you made your donation, and you just, at a certain time, everybody knew they were having the tea together. This was, you know, of course, this is before, you know, things like what we're doing now, but she would send out the tea bags in a card, and everybody would make their little $5 donation, and they would raise the money for the fashion show or whatever that way. So I'm working towards doing the same thing with Divas this year, and acknowledging, that first week in December as HIV AIDS Awareness Week. Of course, December 1st is World AIDS Day, but I'm going to extend it. I'm being creative here now. And it's going to be World AIDS Week. And within that week, we will be putting together a virtual Diva Simply Singing. Before that, though, we might have Diva Simply quarantined and talk to some of the divas. But yeah, I'm not planning to let the 30th year go by. We are the longest consecutive musical HIV AIDS benefit in the country, and I dare say the world. And I'm not going to lose that. We're gonna carry on. So yeah, be awake and aware for that first week in December for the 30th annual Divas Simply Singing.
Well, I'm awake and aware, and if you need a co-host, you know where to find me. I'm just saying.
Come on now, that's how we do these things, together, apart.
Boom, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Ralph, it's Kathy again in Philadelphia. I'm going to piggyback off caller's question and talk a little bit about, because it seems you talked about how important it is to still do benefits for AIDS, to have awareness, because there's a group of young people, my daughter's generation, who's like 18, 19, they don't seem to think that this is still a threat because people are living longer, because there's medication. Explain why it's still important, like you and I know why it's still important to have the awareness, especially for our community, and why this means so much to you.
Just like what we're seeing right now with the coronavirus, it is important for folks to know that HIV is a virus that you can catch, for which there is no cure, just like corona. Now, it is a sexually transmitted infection for which you can use a condom, just like you can use a mask for corona. But you want to know what? We can see in Philadelphia how hard it is to get people to wear masks. It is still, after all these years, hard for people to understand the value of a condom when used properly. You have to have these conversations, just like we're trying to get people to learn now. Stay inside so that you can protect yourself and others. With HIV AIDS, trying to get people to know your sexual footprint matters. You might have sex with one person, but you are truly having sex with everybody that person has had sex with. Yes, it is manageable. Yes, it is manageable. It is not the death sentence it used to be 40 years ago. But having said that, I have never, ever met the person who said it's manageable and I have no problems in the world dealing with this virus. I haven't met that person yet. So it is important, from my perspective, that we continue to raise our voices, raise the red flag, and let people, especially people of color, know this does not have to be your infection. Because as you can see, the covers have been pulled off. And when it comes to caring about the least among us, the poor among us, the people of color among us, no matter how rich or poor they are, people are not that willing to come to the rescue, come to the aid. So we must be willing to help ourselves. And I am prepared to stand on that front line to let my people know it don't have to be you, baby. It does not have to be you. Sometimes the power that you are looking for is right at the end of your own hand. Stand up, take responsibility for yourself, for your life, for your sex life, because trust me, you are worth it, and you are more important than you ever knew. Right now, we need you to survive. We need you to stay alive. We need you to be strong, because we as a people must carry on. Honey, we've come too far over these 400 years. We ain't giving it up now. No, we're not. And only the strong and knowledgeable will survive. Don't get me started. You know how I am.
No, that was perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank
But
you.
Cheryl, how do we really communicate these messages to the community? I mean, we sort of see the same type of irresponsible behavior occurring now with the coronavirus, where it's disproportionately affecting, impacting people who look like we do, Black people, Black and brown people. And it's largely at their own hand. You know, to point, you can't, it's not something you can point your finger at, you know, and say,
Right.
they did it to me.
Right.
How do we overcome such recklessness in our community?
You know, we're such a strong, powerful people. And a lot of us know that the game has been stacked against us. We know this. You brought up Hollywood earlier when we were talking, and there's a line in that movie that was written by a white man, interestingly enough. The line is very clear and out loud to me. The line is, these white boys don't play fair. They don't play fair. We know they don't play fair. We know that when it comes to education, if it's our schools compared to some of these suburbs, our books can be anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 years old. Now that they're trying to ramp up to teach, you know, outside of the classroom due to Corona, our kids don't have the computers. So they're trying to ramp up on the computers. We are seeing that once the curve of Corona got to a certain height, how many of us were denied tests? How many of us asked for help, didn't get the help very often for the people that we work with, and how many have died and are dying now? We know that we can walk in our community and catch the virus. My uncle, 90 years old and vibrant, not sick, not all bent over, vibrant 90-year-old in his community, caught that virus, in on a Wednesday, intubated on a Thursday, dead on a Friday. And we see it happening over and over and over. So what's got to change in our minds? What's got to change is how we value ourselves. What's got to change in how we become more responsible to each other for everything. For everything. How we develop trust in each other, that I can put myself in your hands and know that you are going to value me like yourself. But we got to start with valuing ourselves, because right now we're not valuing ourselves. Because if you are walking around in the store with your mask like this, something's wrong, honey. Something's wrong. You've got to wear the mask like this. You've got to cover it up. You have got to wash your hands. Now I'm going to bring up a subject that, you know, on my social media was brought up to me. They said, Miss Ralph, y'all keep talking about washing with that warm or that hot water. It takes a long time for the water to get hot in my apartment. I was like, whoa, I didn't even think about that. Maybe we need to get the teapot where you can put the water in, boil it up, and when you need to wash it, have a little wash basin and wash those hands. But we've got to wash the hands, sing happy birthday, the Black style. Wash the hands. We have got to sneeze into our elbows and away from people. Into your elbow and away from people. We have got to get the masks, put them on, and wear them. We are the people that we have been waiting for. We're strong, we are able, we are knowledgeable, and now we've got to put it to good use. Stop saying that the man, the people, the government is against us, because we're looking at it. We've got the power and we've got to use it. We cannot give up now thinking, even though we know the game is a little bit stacked against us, but we got certain players that can move that ball up and down the court. Play like you think you're Kobe. Play like you think you're Michael Jordan. Play like you think you're Magic Johnson. Play like you are some great player. Put yourself first, because those men in life, they take care of themselves. You see what they look like? They take care of themselves. Do that. Be a star player in your own blessed life and do what you need to do to carry on. Value yourselves like the kings and queens that we say we come from, which is actually true, but some of us have forgotten it's actually true. And play like you know the game's stacked against you. But when you play hard and you play right, you can win, and we can win. Don't get me started. Gil, you know how I am. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, so no, thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you got initiatives, honey, we've got to encourage everybody to vote. We got to encourage everybody to vote like they think they're voting for Obama. I just want you, if you have to, hypnotize yourself and vote like you think Obama has come to the front line again. Because if we do not vote, I'm telling you, it is over. If we do not vote, we will be orange again for another 4 years, and we will not survive. It is that bad. It is that critical. New voter registration is down 90% in this country. Down 90% in this country. That is unacceptable. I need people to vote like their lives depend upon it. And I need you to register and vote from home. Be an absentee ballot from now on. I mean, wherever you are, if you're in Pennsylvania, go to votespa.com. Ask them for your vote by mail application. Fill it out. Let them send you your ballot. I mean, we've got states. We've got some 6 swing states here. We're going to make all the difference, and we have to make all the difference because it's critical. Vote like your life depends on it. That's all I'm saying. You know me. I'm like, hey, I go out there, vote. Look at me. Yeah, read it. Vote. Shoot. Anyway, I'm about it, baby, and got the t-shirt to match.
I'm going to order one of those today.
Yes, just go to my Instagram and follow the link. Order it. Wear it. Share them. We got to do what we got to do in this and be forceful about it.
And you know, something else I've always found so interesting is how you balance these two identities as being an actress, but also being a political wife, being a senator's wife. And it must be, I know both of them are on a public platform, but they require different things.
You know, it's very interesting. I always tell people, I love politics so much, I sleep with it. I sleep with my husband, Senator Vincent Hughes from the 7th Senatorial District of Pennsylvania. And for me, you know, politics has always been in my family. On my mother's side, my uncle, Ernest Peart, was the ambassador to Great Britain from Jamaica. You know, my godfather, former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson in Jamaica. So politics has always been something I've been a part of in some way. As an adult, you know, my parents, they were those parents that on Friday night, they were going to invite the mayor of the town or the representative of the town. And they were going to come in and they were going to think, you know, create their little think tanks with the minister at the church. So I was always looking through the glass door into the living room of these people planning for better, for the community, better for their children. So it's just a part of who I am, and I feel responsible in some ways to carry on that legacy, because if we don't carry on our legacy, if we don't tell our stories, if we don't share what's happened before, just like we were talking about HIV and AIDS and the next generation not knowing, they don't know. So those who know better must do better. So I do love it, but I gotta tell you one thing. show business pays much better than politics. Politics and show business, it may be the same thing, but I like the pay scale of entertainment much more. Yes, much more.
Hey, speaking of showbiz, I attended Jamaican Film Festival back in the day, and oh yeah, it was wonderful, amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. So what are the things that are you still involved in kind of amping up the Caribbean film industry? I see them making moves lately that are, like Sprinters on Netflix that Will and Jada, produce. So like, is that an ongoing effort for you, or is it something you're going to come back to?
Let me tell you something. I was so proud to see Sprinter on Netflix because Storm, the director writer Storm, was one of the first young people to attend the Jamaican Film Festival, and he submitted an experimental film, and there I was in LA at his premiere, and he said to me, Miss Ralph, you give me my first shot, right? I put in my film there in the Jamaican Film Festival. Look at me. Look at my film. I said, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy. Your only mistake was not casting me as the mother, but that's all right. You cast my good friend, but even though she's Trinidadian, it's all right. It's all right. But I'm so proud of moments like that. I'm very proud, before the virus, I go back to Jamaica often. And I'm very proud when I go to either CVM or TVJ, our two major television stations, when a young person will come up to me, young-ish person now will come up to me and say, Miss Ralph, I'm here because of you. It's just like, wow. Wow. In 5 years, we made such an impact on the lives of so many young artists throughout the Caribbean that it makes me feel good. I just wish that we had more respect for the arts. I wish people respected it more, that they would invest in it. But people just think it's just some little pia game that you play when you invest in film. And I just wish that they understood that with the right group of people, with the right content and the right talents surrounding it, that is an industry that should have boomed a long time ago. Because when we talk about 20 years from the time I had the idea for Jamaican Film and Music Festival to where I see Nollywood now, it could have been the Caribbean. It could have been the Caribbean. We look like every place in the world. We've got all of those locations. I mean, we could have developed the artists ourselves. We could have done that, but we chose not to because we don't really and truly respect the arts in an investment way. And it takes money to create art, or it takes passion with absolutely no money and pure focus that I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. But those kind of artists are few and far between. But yes, to answer your question, yes, I'm still involved.
Yeah. Oh, I got one more. Like, what's going on with Harlem's Kitchen with you and Delroy?
Girl, thank you for asking me about Harlem's Kitchen. Let me tell you something. The week before the New York shut down, there we all were, myself, Delroy, and a great cast of beautiful new young chocolate, beige, brown people. We were all together, and it was magic. When I tell you the creativity and the look was popping, the script by Zaire McGee was on point, giving you everything we love. The drama with just a touch of that sharp kind of comedy, more like dramedy. The look, the varied layers of a scandal, of a how to get away with murder. The magic of Black folks coming together on an equal platform and just giving it everything we had. We were ready to bring it. And then Corona came. They said we were off for 2 weeks. Now we're going into 3 months. But God's willing, Harlem's Kitchen will be coming to your screen because it is something people are going to love. When I read that script, I was like, they have got to see me. They have got to see me. They've got to. And it was hard to get into that room. I was the last woman they saw. The last woman they saw for that role. And that was just the way it was supposed to be. It was God-given. So I'm praying, God, and we always say, God, thy will be done. On, you know, God or Goddess knows best. So I'm praying that Goddess knows best, and you will be seeing Harlem's Kitchen on ABC sooner than later.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I was loving it. Oh,
Hey, Sheryl, I have one more question. Your
yes.
son, Etienne, is on the line with us, and you guys collaborated with the film First Day Back. Are we going to see more collaborations with you and him in the future?
Wow, I certainly hope so. You know, when I saw First Day Back and I saw Etienne's acting talents, I was like, I love him as a comedian when he does comedic acting, but I was like, I had real respect for him as a dramatic actor in First Day Back. You know, First Day Back is a wonderful short film by Deshaun Plyer, and it takes place in Philadelphia the first day when a school of color, Black school, urban school, comes back after gun violence in their school. And we hadn't seen what it's like for us when that happens. People always think, well, it just happens for them. They're used to it. Well, we're not used to it. And they dealt with that and how it just affected everybody. So anybody that's able to get the link to watch First Day Back, I would encourage them to watch First Day Back. The same as he recently uploaded his senior thesis when he was in college at Drexel, and it was called The Last Laugh. It's interesting, the first and the last laugh. And he chose that subject matter of his favorite sitcoms because it seemed, you know, 5 years ago, sitcoms, when it came to Black people, were becoming the thing of the past. And where was that good Black strong family? Where were the people that we longed to turn the TV on to see what this family was doing? It seemed like they were all disappearing. So he just called up all of his friends, okay, my friends that he knew growing up, and he interviewed them about their roles on some of our favorite sitcoms. And now people are asking, okay, but you forgot this, you forgot that, you forgot this. And it's like trying to let them remember, this was 5 years ago when he was in college. And now maybe it's time, you know, to follow up with that, because we certainly do have more new Black comedy. A lot of them now are not so much 4-camera as they are 1-camera, which there's a different spin on the comedy when it's 1-camera. But I think it's time for an update. And I would love, you know, we've been pitching a series idea with Nisi and her son, Etienne and I, called Mama's Boys. So there are a lot of things that we're working on, and God's willing, they're going to find their place. And I can't help collaborating with my kids. I just love them. I have to hire them whenever I can because they're so smart, and they're just, I like working with them. A lot of people don't like working with family. I like working with them. Okay, it may be hard to get them to come to the table and be in complete agreement with Mother, but Mother does know best. Thank you.
And I guess since we've mentioned Etienne, we got to mention your collaboration with the lovely Ivy Coco.
Let me tell you something. I mean, Coco just has these great, she's got this great, how do I say this? She can look at pictures and images and things, and she can just make it aesthetically so beautiful, which is such a talent. She can dress herself well. She can dress others well. Because, you know, she started, you know, styling me the past year, which has been wonderful. You know, when I created the vote masks and t-shirt, she was like, Mommy, you can't just waste it on one. People want things like this. You got to put it out there. You've got to create the brand. The people have to see it. And I'm like, oh my God, she's actually right. So, you know, she'll go away, take her magic, create the store, put it all together. And I'm like, I mean, I just love working with her. She created these wellness kits, you know, in this time of Corona, with the Palo Santo wood, with the cedar incense, with the Himalayan pink salt, and with the sage to do the smudging. And I was like, you go, girl. And I was like, my God, she sold them. Wow, she actually sold them all. People wanted that. So I love the fact that she's a forward thinker. You know, she's a wonderful creative. And you can follow her at Ivy Coco 23. Ivy Coco, that's the brand. You can follow her at Ivy Coco 23. And Etienne, you can follow him at Walk Good Etienne. Walk Good Etienne. Etienne. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So much, love. We appreciate you. We celebrate you.
Thank you.
I don't know. There are not enough adjectives in the universe to describe how much you mean to us.
Love you much, much more. And don't you love me for being there for the very first AAFCA Awards? And then years later, darling, sending my child to you to edit videos. He was what, 15, 16 years old? Look at that. I was good to you.
You've been more than good. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. And support. I love supporting AAFCA. You're important.
Thank you.
Thank you.